Tabletop games.
They've probably been around since the dawn of humankind. I haven't, because I'm not that old. But I have discovered that I have a fondness for these tabletop games and the miniature figures that come with them. More specifically, painting them. Now, see, the only problem with that is if you were to look up in the dictionary the definition for amateur, miniature, figure, painter, you would most definitely get a picture of my beautiful face staring back at you. For I am that amateur, miniature, figure, painter. This is a huge learning experience for me, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty of things that I do in this video and in future videos that people are going to scream at me for. And honestly, I welcome it. Because like I said, I have no idea what I'm doing. This is for fun, but this is also a learning experience. And I definitely want help. What am I doing?
Oh! I didn't see this camera right here in front of my face. Yeah. How are things? You doing good? I'm glad. I'm just sitting here in this uncomfortable office chair, about ready to start showing you guys the goods. You know what I'm talking about. My painted minifigures. So, you know, we're gonna have fun with that.
Oh god, this is so cringe. How do I segue into just showing you the figures? I'm just gonna show you now. I had previously watched a Goobertown Hobbies video where he had spray painted his figures black, and then once that had dried, he'd gone over the top with white spray paint. And I had assumed this was for highlights and shadows, but looking back, now that I've already finished the figures, it didn't do anything. So that did nothing for me. Maybe I did it wrong. Regardless, I definitely got the wrong spray paint. I went to the local brand name hobby shop and just picked out whatever spray paint I could find with no research because I'm a donkey. And I'm pretty sure it ended up messing with the figures. When I got Fallout Wasteland Warfare, I was so excited to start painting my minifigures until I realized I needed to paint my minifigures with paint. I needed to find paint. And it is excruciating and incredibly overwhelming trying to figure out what paint you need. But I finally realized that I should just focus on a little bit at a time. So I chose to focus on the mutants, because green is all I need, really. It's just green. So I went to the local hobby shop, and I found some green. More specifically, I found Citadel Paint's Deathworld Forest Green, and that's what I used for all of the mutants and the mutant hounds. And you'll notice some of the mutants, most of the mutants, came out looking very dark, and that's because of the Citadel wash that I used, which was Biel-Tan green, and that just really darkened everybody. But it could be cooler. Cooler with more colors other than green. So after green, I went in and started detailing things. I started adding brown color, Citadel paint, Bloodreaver flesh. You'll notice those are just any cloth fabric that I saw, I would just douse it in the Bloodreaver flesh. And when I was done with that, any buckles or anything I would find, I would use the Citadel paint XV88 for the small little buckles and just any other fun I wanted to do with it. You'll notice on this specific mutant that there are some skulls hanging around, so I was able to use a different paint. I used Citadel Flayed Flesh, so I could make the skulls look like skulls. But I used a wash to just really get in those deep little crevices. And I used the Citadel Reikland Fleshade gloss. And you're gonna be seeing that gloss on every single one of my figures. And that's probably the reason they are all shiny. They all took a dip in the pool. But that's okay, because it makes their Mithral silver armor look real cool. For the Mutant Hound's mouths, I used Dragonfire red and Lawful white. I mixed those two to make that pink color. And for the teeth, I used, again, the Flayed Flesh. So finally moving on to the Wastelanders. I finished the Super Mutants, I ran down to the hobby store, and I got some more paint. But as you can see, for this particular Wastelander, I used the exact same colors that I used on the other ones. You are also really going to start seeing the chunkification, where I don't know if it was the spray paints doing, or if I was just messing too hard with the brushes, but there's like these flecks, and I have no idea why. If you know, please tell me in the comments, because I don't know what I did wrong here. And yes, I am well aware the gloopy mess that is my washes. I know how they gloopified. Everybody's pretty gloopy, like it's just poopy. It's poopy caca. I am well aware. It was too late and I couldn't fix it, so it dried like that, and they're gloopy madness now. Nora, your gloopy face may look ugly as sin, but at least your awesome vault suit with Kraken blue paint looks spicy as hell. If I didn't know any better, I'd say a super cool amateur miniature figure painter painted that Kraken blue paint on you. Oh my god, you're so gloopy though. Jesus. So I had trouble with the alien. I'm pretty sure there was something wrong with the paints. I don't know, maybe I didn't shake them up well enough, or maybe I used like too much water, or my brush was wet or something, because they would not stay on this alien at all. It all ended up being like this big watery mess, and I had to come back to it at a later time, and I managed to kind of fix it, but it's not great, but I did what I could. I completely decimated the power armor. It was once shiny, and somehow it ended up looking like that. I think it looks okay, but I have no idea how it got from where I started to here. It was so different, and something happened along the way. But it could be worse. Again, this is my first time really using much paint at all. I've never used these types of paints to paint a figure, and I've rarely used any other type of paint before to do any other painting. So for what I got, I'm still pretty happy. That said, I absolutely hate how dog meat turned out. I wanted to try something different, so I didn't use spray paint at all, and I just painted directly onto the base. It, looks like trash. Like bad, hot garbage. But you gotta crack a few eggs to make a cake. So at some point, finally I realized, oh, okay, the spray paint's probably bad. So I'll go to the hobby store and get a new spray paint, but like an actual hobby spray paint, the Citadel spray paint. And for some reason I thought that this lead spray paint would be just a base matte color, but it is shiny. So I used it on the Deathclaw, found out the Deathclaw is shiny, and painting on something shiny sucks. Now that we're nearing the end of the video, I'm sure you've noticed that the bases are pretty bland. That's because I was focusing on the figures, and that's okay because everything turned out alright in the end. It is the end. It's the end? Oh, wow. You made it to the end. You get a pat on the back. I'm so proud of you. Well, in the future, I'm going to be painting these videos. Painting the videos? Yeah, I'll paint them. I'll paint these videos.